The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
You are listening to the Mindful Experiment, and this is your host. This is our first live on Facebook. Apologize about yesterday. We had some tech difficulties and just could not get on at the time we wanted to. So we rescheduled for now, and here we are. So in today's episode, what we really wanted to talk about is how to create massive transformation in your life. What are the steps? How do you do it? And so much more. And so it's one of those things where it's a process to, in order to create and have anything you desire in your life, you have to create that you have to create massive transformation within yourself, right? It comes from your inner world. A lot of times we get so hung up and so focused on external things. What should I do? What's the newest system? What's the coolest thing to say? But in reality, we miss the boat on when it comes to really the most simplest thing that you can do when it comes to transforming your life, and that is focusing on the internal, focusing on your inner world. And you may have heard this message a gazillion times before, but the reason why I thought this would be a great concept to talk about is, and I've said this word many times, actually in my book, Rediscover Your Greatness, I really go deep into that. But it's one of the things that we talk a lot about creating, right? And in order to create the world you want in your outer world, you have to create that world within your inner world. And I want to change that term because I am a stickler for words, because each word has a particular meaning. It is a fabric to your reality. One of the most simplistic ways to change your life is just by changing your words. It's just that simple. So when we think of the word create, some people use the word attract. I like the word align. Now, hear me out. When you want to create something, when you have this dream, and I heard this, I was interviewing someone yesterday, and it was such a beautiful way she said this. And that is, when you have a dream, it's a gift from God. And to return the gift to God is to actualize it in your reality. And I thought that was very fascinating, because it was one of those things where you're creating, you have this opportunity, right? And I always say, if you can imagine it, then you can create it. And so the beauty behind that is, when it comes to things that you want to create, in order to, here's where I see how easy it is for me to catch myself. I'm even catching myself saying create. But to create a dream, have a dream in your mind and to make it into your reality. The true aspect is aligning to it rather than creating or attracting. Because creating or attracting is an essence of how we have to do something, right? We have to do outside ourselves. But in reality, it's like turning on the radio station to your favorite station. You don't have to create the station. You don't have to create the antenna. You don't have to create or attract that music towards you. All you have to do is align. And once you align, that is all the process that you'll do in order to have the music. So when you align to, let's say, country, and in Chicago here is 99.5. And so if you want to listen to country, you don't have to create the antenna to have country, this, the yada, yada, yada. You don't have to attract the aspect of whatever that may be. All you have to do is align to 99.5. Things where if you just align to it, it becomes a reality. So let's take a step here now and let's look at a vision. Let's look at your dreams. Let's look at the things that you want to create in your life. A lot of times we're all about what do we have to do? What's the thing we have to, the newest thing? What's the catchiest phrase? What's this and that? But at the end of the day, you're just in a different type of a rat race, and you're thinking, I have to create, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to be this. But in that reality, if you start to think of, you know what, if I just align myself to my dream, if I align myself to my vision, universe takes care of everything else, right? It's that simple. People I work with, when we really start to hammer this down and things start to get in alignment, or you can call it flow. But when you get into this alignment, it's massively powerful because things just start to happen and you have no real like you couldn't in your mind there's no way I could have fabricated this. There's no way that I could have put this and been orchestrated all this together. There's just no way. And that is the beauty of when you are in alignment with yourself. You're in alignment with what it is you want to create. Now, this doesn't have to just be in business. This doesn't have to be in relationships. This doesn't have to be in any aspect of your it could be in any aspect of your life. Financials, it could be with family, friends, socioeconomic, mental, physical health, whatever it is you desire. It's all about being in alignment. And I think if we start to shift our mindset and start using that word more, things will become more at ease for yourself. It will come to a process and a point to where now all of a sudden you can truly just focus on what it is you want, because now you just have to visualize, have a vision, and be crystal clear with it. And from that perspective, just stay in alignment, in tune with what that is. Now, what would that look like to you? Right? What does it look like to be in alignment? What does that see? What does it appear? How does it show up? Right? Because it's like, okay, cool concept, alignment. All right, I'm going to start using that word. But there's work behind it. And it's just like anything else. If you have a dream, that's beautiful, right? But if you don't put any work to it, it just stays a dream. Just like an idea. If you don't do the work, it just stays a dream. As I was in an interview yesterday, we're getting into the spiritual concepts of things. And we're talking about spiritual groups, and not that there's nothing wrong with spiritual groups and spiritual people. They're very aware. They know how to move their energy. They know how to raise the vibrations. They know how to do all that. But a lot of times they don't take action, right? They don't take that physical step. They don't figure out, they don't learn the more concrete, the physical elements. Like, for example, if you have a business, right? There's the vision, there is the passion, the purpose, the impact, the spiritual side of things, right? And then there's, how do I market? How do I create distribution? How do I connect with individuals? How do I network? How do I create a massive momentum and so much more? And there's all these different variables that come from that. Now, in that interview, I was sitting there and I go, I love what you're sharing. And I go, here's the reason why. I go, a lot of times spiritual people focus on the top 3, maybe 4 chakras, right? That's the crown. You got the third eye between the eyebrows. You have the throat chakra and even the heart. Now, the heart can be a mix because it's right in the middle. And I said, if you're very focusing on the impact and the things you want to do, that's going to be on the top half of your body. But then I go, there's a reason why there's 3 more, right? You have the solar, you have the sacral, and then you have the root. And I say those 3 are more to the physical elements. That's more, especially your root chakra. That is all physical. That is your physical world right there. And then, sacral is your creative energy, and solar is your self-esteem and other things like that. But it's one of the things that I said, there's a reason why we have 7, and there's a reason why the heart's in the middle. It's the perfect communicator, transportator. It just goes up and down with things. And the thing is with it is you also have but when you have all of them in alignment, and you're working on both, not only the spiritual side, but also the physical side, dreams can be manifested way faster. Dreams can all of a sudden, because you're doing the work, you have to create energy in a sense, right? You have to, and again, there's that word, right? So it's not create per se, it's just stimulate your energy from within and start to manifest that energy out. You have to take action. because an idea, a dream without action is just a dream. It's just an idea. And if you don't take action to make that dream a reality, don't make that vision a reality, then it just stays in dormant and it'll never wake up. And so it's like I want you guys to think of it this way. Think of your dream as like a piece of metal, just a chunk of, I don't know, whatever metal you like. Platinum, you can do gold. Let's go gold, right? So you have this big bar of gold. Now it has some worth to it. Let's say $1,000. Okay. Now, if you never put action into it, that's all it'll ever be, right? Nothing fancy, nothing special, nothing whatsoever. But let's say you had a vision of creating something, maybe a ring, earrings, a necklace, whatever it is you want to create, right? Whatever you want to make. Now, all of a sudden, you take a piece of that gold and you put some energy into it. You take action and you start doing work a little at a time, right? You perfect it and you keep doing the work, and you perfect it and you keep doing the work. Consistent actions over a long period of time, taking the small steps little at a time. All of a sudden, this little piece of gold that really is only worth $5 is all you used is now worth $500, almost $1,000, right? And the more you take this gold and the more you have to put the energy into it, it's making the things that you need to make it to be, is the faster that you can start to manifest and really align to your dreams and make those things a reality. Because so many times we get so hooked on the doing side. And then because everyone in society does that. Everyone, all corporations are doing, right? The medical world, it's a massive, do. And because that's their mindset. And I talk about this in my new book coming out in end of September or early October, The Walk in the Path. It's one of those things where it really discusses, and we'll talk about how, we get into the mindset of things and we break down really what is that, how the aspects of when it comes to the fixed kind of mindset, an ego type of mindset, it's a do type of thing instead of a being. And how does that look? So it's really starting to tap into the being, really get into alignment with what your vision is and what your dream is. It's like the old saying goes, if you know your why, you'll overcome any how. Focus on your why, and the hows will take care of themselves. So take time to really look at what it is you want to create and start to align yourself to that. Start to be in that perspective. What is it when you're that being? Who do you have to be to create that dream, to manifest that to manifest that idea into the physical realms? Who do you have to be? And then from that moment, every step you take, every action you take has to be in alignment with that, because that's where action happens. It's kind of like you ever do something and you're creating something and you were off by a little bit. And when you get done with it, it wasn't done properly. Some of you may be saying, not really, maybe not. This happens in construction. If you're trying to make everything level and make it what they call plumb, and if you are off by just a hair, when you start continually doing your work, as you further get down, all of a sudden you're off by not just a hair. It could be a couple inches. It could be massive. And that plays a huge role on everything. And so it's kind of the same thing when your actions don't line up to what your vision is, what your dream may be, and who you really want to become. If you're not doing the things that are related to that, you're doing work that separates you away. And now all of a sudden your actions become a distraction instead of aligning you more to what it is you want to create. So that's something to be aware of and really to focus on, and really take time to really be aware of that, because I can't tell you how many times I see that, where I'll be listening what people want to create, I'll be working with someone and we'll be talking about it. And then all of a sudden there's this gap, and I start to see what their actions are. I start to look at how are they using their energy and where are they putting it. And I would always, most of the time I will see they're putting it in areas that are not helping them stay in alignment or get into alignment for what it is they want to create. But once they get into that state of alignment and once they are aligned, I always hear these magical stories. And I always laugh because I'm like, it's not magical. That's actually how life should be. It's just we've lost this beautiful art and it's slowly coming back, and how to really create the life you want to create. So I want to thank you guys. This is if you're listening on iTunes or anything like that, or any of our outlets, this is our first Facebook Live podcast episode that I did. So we're going to be doing these every Tuesday at 7 a.m. It's Central Time. So definitely, if you want to be a part of this, come check out my private Facebook group, Empowered Living with Dr. Vic. We go live on there. Today we had some video issues, but we still went live, got the audio content. But it's one of the things to go ahead and join us, come on there. You can ask any questions you have in the comments anytime when I'm live, and definitely a way to connect and just to create awareness to help truly raise the experiences and help individuals just to, share something to really create some inspiration and help you with all that you do within your life. So definitely come join us on there. I want to thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Appreciate you. And then as always, until next time, just keep rocking and rolling.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.